Newly designed ventilator. This is the manual ventilator which pumps air in and out inside the lungs of human. While this is the mechanisms that compresses the balloon. This is the motor. This is the discs that convert the circular motion into linear motion, as shown below. Circular motion to linear motion. While this is the shaft that compresses the balloon and releases it to generate air. This is the carbon dioxide intake. There is filter in it, and this is the oxygen outlet. While this is the carbon dioxide outlet. So this is the voltmeter. This is the voltmeter. This is the voltmeter. This is the voltmeter. This is the control. This is the speed increasing point. This is the battery, and also this is the charging point. It is automatic. We use this pump because it is recommended for us in the hospital. And this is the oxygen mask. Let's have a test on it. Can you hear the sound of air? Okay. Then we can have control. We can regulate the quantity of air. The quantity of air is determined by the demand of oxygen.
Hello everybody, we're showcasing our homemade ventilator made out of 100% recycled material, made in Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria. And missed the lockdown, so we did not have the luxury of going to get fancy equipment or working in a lab or things like that. So this is our ventilator. As we can see, it's very crude. The power source is from a recycled laptop pack, 12 volts, and the power is connected to a speed regulator from a recycled blender. That's the recycled blender. And we have the mechanism from parts of a car, windshield, and an amber bag was attached. The frame is made out of recycled furniture, one of our old furnitures in the house. And let's see how it works. Come on, put it on. So there you go. That's the amber bag being compressed by the windshield motor, and the speed could be regulated from our recycled blender. Everything was done at home with makeshift materials, as we can see, courtesy of one and only engineer Collins Etiosa. Okay, God bless Nigeria. We will beat this COVID-19.
So in this case, what we are doing is that in the basic ventilator, you need an air source, right? Then from the air source, you need to humidify it. So humidification is basically moistening or wetting the air, because you don't want dry air entering into the patient. The feeling you get when dry air enters into you is when you are in a very airtight air-conditioned room that doesn't have very good ventilation. Immediately you get inside, your nose becomes dry. So that condition, you don't want to do that. So you pass the air through water, then it becomes humidified before you introduce it into the patient. Of course, through a bacterial filter to filter out any bacteria. So from there, it comes into the patient's lungs. So that is the inhalation cycle of the respiratory system. Then it's now left for the patient to what? Expire, exhale. So when the patient exhales, it goes through a positive end respiratory valve. So this is a pressure that will prevent the patient from expiring all the air in their lungs, because you want to maintain the lungs in a positive pressure. You don't want a situation whereby they expire everything and the lungs collapse again. So this is supposed to prevent the patient from expiring everything in their lungs. And then it goes through the final stage of the scrubber. This scrubber is necessary because COVID-19 can be gotten through expired air, right? So you pass the expired air through 70% of alcohol to kill the virus. before the expired air is let into the atmosphere. If you don't have this, what it means is that the health professionals and anybody around will be infested with the COVID-19. So basically that's it. So I'm about to demonstrate how this particular one works, and then we'll take it from there. This is serving as a pump, right? So it takes air in. When you lift it, what happens is that you create a negative pressure in here. And then when you push it down, because this is a one-way valve, the air goes through this into the humidifier. Then from the humidifier, it comes directly into the lungs. So when you pump it, it inflates the lungs. You understand? When you pump it, it inflates the lungs. So once the lungs is inflated, and then the patient goes to the expiratory phase, then it goes through the rest of the system and then into the atmosphere. So basically that's how it works. So for now, the reason why I'm still using my hands to pump is that we want to make solutions that are fit for every conditions that we'll have in our health sector. In some remote villages, they might not have electricity. So if you mechanize this, where are they going to get power? But then the relative of a patient can be somewhere far away and be pumping. And then this will be connected to the patient somewhere. And they might take turns in doing this. Then we'll have another version where we are going to connect a rack and pinion system to this and a motor. So when you plug it and you start it, it's going to be what? Automatic. You understand? It's going to be automatic. And then the third option is to connect pressurized oxygen tank. So when you have the oxygen cylinder, you connect it to this. Because it is already pressurized, you don't need any motor to drive it. Once you open it, it will drive itself and then feed the lungs. Of course, this will also be coupled with the intelligence system. If I say the intelligence system, you know, breaths are taken in a timed manner. So you have to deliver the breath when the patient needs it. So we are building the electronics to also control when the breath should be given, when it should stop for the patient to expire. All that will be built into the system.
How about mobility and agility?
So as you can see this metal pole will have. So this is basically for proof of concept. Okay. So the final product will be on casters. So you push it around. You understand? So it makes more
መረዳዳት ቢኖር ሁሉም ቢተባበር ሰው ለሰው ቢፋቀር ሁሉም ቢተባበር የት ይደረስ ነበር ቢጥር የት ይደረስ ነበር ሁሉም ቢፈቃቀር በመልካም መንፈሱ ክፋት ምቀኝነት የትም በደረሱ መጠፋፋት ቢቀር በተንኮል በሐሜት ሁሉም ቢደጋገፍ በእውነተኛ ስሜት ሰው በሰው ባይገባ ባያጋጭም ነገር ሁሉም ቀና ቢያስብ ሁሉም ቢተባበር ማን ኧረ ማን ይደርስ ነበር ቢማማ ቢረዳዳ ሁሉም በአንድነት ቢማማ ቢረዳዳ ሁሉም በአንድነት ቢማማ ቢረዳዳ ሁሉም በአንድነት ቢማማ ቢረዳዳ ሁሉም በአንድነት ያም ቢተባበር ድህነት አልነበር ያም ቢተባበር የት ይደረስ ነበር መረዳዳት ቢኖር ሁሉም ቢተባበር ሰው ለሰው ቢፋቀር ሁሉም ቢተባበር የት ይደረስ ነበር ቢጥር የት ይደረስ ነበር ሁሉም ቢንቀሳቀስ ቢጣጣር እንዳቅሙ በስራ ነበረ አገር መጥቀሙ ቢሰራ ቢደክም ሁሉም ሰው ቢተጋ አምላክ ሽሮን ነበር የተፈጥሮን ጸጋ በዚች በለም መሬት በዚች በለም ምድር ሁሉም ቢሰራበት ሁሉም ቢወዳደር ማን ኧረ ማን ይደርስብን ነበር ቢጣጣ ቢረዳዳ ሁሉም በአንድነት ቢጣጣ ቢረዳዳ ሁሉም በአንድነት ቢጣጣ ቢረዳዳ ሁሉም በአንድነት ቢጣጣ ቢረዳዳ ሁሉም በአንድነት ያም ቢተባበር መጠቃት ባልነበር ያም ቢተባበር የት ይደረስ ነበር መረዳዳት ቢኖር ሁሉም ቢተባበር ሰው ለሰው ቢፋቀር ሁሉም ቢተባበር የት ይደረስ ነበር ቢጥር የት ይደረስ ነበር ሁሉም ቢተማመን በሙያው በእውቀቱ ስራ ባህል ቢሆን በጀግንነቱ ቢጥር ቢፎካከር በልማት ጎዳና ሁሉም ሲሰራ ነው የእድገት ብልጽግና እኛው ብንስማማ እኛው ብንፋቀር የለፋ ቢወደስ የሰራ ቢከበር ማን ኧረ ማን ይደርስብን ነበር ቢቻቻል ቢረዳዳ ሁሉም በአንድነት ቢማማ ቢረዳዳ ሁሉም በአንድነት
basically a first response unit. When we're looking at designing this, we're saying once we have patients coming in and we have an influx of patients and we only have one ICU unit maybe per clinic, we'll get to a point where maybe we have 6 or so patients and they all want to use one unit. So this unit then helps those patients who are less critical so that we can manage resource allocation on the ICU unit ventilator. But what this actually does now is we've taken a ambu bag, what we have, the bag valve mask. We've taken that unit and we are compressing that unit robotically so that we can meet the number of breaths per minute, so that we can deliver a particular tidal volume. And at the same time, we've set an inspiration-expiration ratio so that when we inspire, we also take 2 times the time to expire. So in the ones that we've seen, we've researched the British system, what they've come up with. They've come up with a standard to do with the rapidly manufactured ventilators, especially for COVID reasons. And in these, they've specified certain specifications. Some are highly technical because of the nature of their economy, they can reach this. But we've focused on the IE ratio, we've also focused on the tidal volume, and we've also focused on the number of breaths per minute. So the moment we can actually key in the number of breaths per minute that we want to deliver to the patient. And for this unit, we've actually set a tidal volume of 400 milliliters. So our sensor is set at 400 milliliters. So with this unit, we can give a particular tidal volume constantly. We can, we've already coded in an IE ratio. So when we key in our breaths per minute, it will also respect the IE ratio that we've set in. When it pumps in air, it will also give that time for us to expire. Now, why are we so maybe confident to an extent on this is we've simply taken what we already have in a hospital, and we've said with low resource allocation, suppose we don't have enough health personnel, we don't have enough ICUs, we can have these units actually assisting that resource allocation challenge. And we delay progress of the patient to get into critical mode. Let me give you a scenario. We have 3 people who come to the hospital, and when they come to the hospital, the first patient is critical. The other 2 patients are not critical. Now, the first critical patient may require 2 weeks or so on a ventilator. But if these others do not get any form of assistance, they will progress and become critical. By the time they become critical, we have 2 or 3 other patients who also progress into critical stage. And before we know it, we cannot meet demand like what we've seen all over the world. So what we are simply saying is, with this unit, we can begin to respond to our patients as they come in. And as we respond to them, we can try to reduce the burden on the ICU grade ventilator units. And already we are beginning to work on units that can begin to have specifications that are in between this entry-level unit